Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In this video, it's going to be a quick one, but I want to talk about what I think is one of the most annoying issues when you're driving this car. And for me, it's quite a big one as somebody that enjoys driving. And it's absolutely about the driving part of this car, not the ownership part of this car. Because whenever anyone talks about the ownership part of this car, it tends to be around one particular thing, and that word is the one that begins with D and ends with appreciation. But we're completely ignoring that for this one. Corrado VR6, wonderful. And it's an issue that really annoys me and caught me out the other day when I went for a safe overtake, pulled out, and then realized I absolutely wasn't going to make it. Not because there wasn't a gap, plenty of gap, but because I had no power. Far less power than I was expecting. Now, the main reason for this is not because anything is broken. I think this is just Taycan EV software related. And I think it's because the system is being far more protective than potentially it needs to be, or to prevent damage to the battery through software. And I have noticed, for me, that this has gotten worse over time through subsequent software updates, and I know there's been a lot on this. Now, I know loads of you that watch this channel and have subscribed to this channel have Taycans, however you pronounce it. Thank you for doing so, really do appreciate it. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Is this something that happens to you as well? Is there any kind of specific level that you're seeing that it kicks in at? I'd love to hear, because I think it's definitely gotten worse for me, and I think the more powerful versions, i.e. the Turbo S, which this is, the more the battery has to be managed, and I'll come on to that in a bit. Well, to look at the issue, let's dig into the issue, and it's because you don't have full power, and there is a power meter you can see on the dashboard on the right hand side, and a recuperation meter on the left hand side. That power meter is a grey margin, and it shows you how much available power you have, and normally it goes right round to the word power, and that means you have full power available. However, when I tried to do this overtake, I attempted the maneuver, pulled out, and then realized this isn't going to happen, so ducked back in behind the car. And when I looked down at the power gauge, yes, the grey bar was only sort of halfway around to about that 3 o'clock position. So we didn't have full power available. Why? Well, we know that when Taycans get low, they start to throttle the power. They start to limit the power you've got available to keep the battery protected, to prevent damage to the battery. Because there is a huge load on the battery pack in this. I think 560 kilowatts at launch, which is insane, over half a megawatt. A lot of power, but it is limiting the power that you've got available. So we know that is something that happens, but in this instance, it was 12 degrees outside, so not freezing, and 36% battery left. And I only had probably about 50-60% of my usual power, which I think is terrible, really. It's really bad, because the Taycan range is pretty limited anyway, and you're supposed to keep it between 85 and 25. So for a significant portion of that, you may potentially not have your full juice in Taycan. And it comes on to my previous point as well that I made on videos, that I just don't think they do so well in slightly colder climes. They just like hot, warm weather. Good for the battery and good for your power levels. But this is a real problem from a driving perspective. It's a real hobbler of the car. It's a great car to drive normally, but to not have your full power available when you've got that much battery, when it's 12 degrees outside, is a real kick in the teeth, because you want that. You paid for it, it should happen. But unfortunately not the case. Now, Gen 2, I imagine it's going to be a lot better. And here's what I think has happened. Gen 1, they've put software updates on the car, and to protect the battery, because we know the battery packs in Gen 1, they're not the best. I think they are intentionally keeping very high margins on when they start to hobble the car's performance to protect the battery and thus save money from Porsche's perspective, from a warranty perspective. That's what I'm thinking here. Now, you wouldn't have that in an EV car. Sorry, you wouldn't have that in a combustion car, to be specific. When your fuel tank gets down to about 20%, you've still got all your power. Now, for sure, some combustion cars take time to warm up, and they'll limit the performance, limit the RPM until the car warms up. But that's expected. You know that. You get in the car, you let it warm up, and then you give it some beans. This is an EV. You should just expect it to go off the bat. So it is a real pig about owning this car when that happens. And I don't think it's going to get any better. I think the longer these hang around, the more miles they have on them, the more the battery packs decrease in capacity, the worse that hobbling is going to get. So it's another real red flag for the ownership experience on this car. It's still great, it's still a great drive, but it's a real pain to have such limited power so early on in the battery depletion cycle. Now, can it be fixed? Well, yes. Make sure that it's probably 25-30 degrees Celsius ambient temperature all the time. You shouldn't have an issue then. But of course that's not always the case. And combustion cars give you full power when it's cold. In fact, even better in some cases, because that colder, denser air gives you a better fuel ratio into the engine, fuel to air, more dense mix into the engine, and you have more power. Turbocharged cars especially like cold air. Now, I just wanted to cover that on this video because I would genuinely love for you to get straight into the comments on this one and let me know if it's something that you've experienced in your Taycan ownership. Have you found yourself being in a hobbled power situation maybe earlier in the battery discharge cycle than you would have expected? And has it put rest to your plans to have a bit of fun, to go out and explore the capabilities of the car? Do let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. And I just wanted to raise that one with you because it is definitely the most annoying thing about driving this car, not having all your power available. It's kind of disappointing. You pull out or you put your foot down and there's just nothing there, and it feels like you've regressed, which is not ideal. So that is it for this one. Do stay safe, stay well. See you on the next one. Bye for now.